I'm not quite sure where this truck lived its life, but it's got all this brown dust all over it. It was sold new in Texas, but I wonder if that's Texas dust. For the vapor seal, you're going to be sealing around all possible spots that water can enter through the door. You want to create a channel for everything to drain out through the bottom. That's the basic principle, at least. Factory didn't do too bad a job, but that was messed up whenever somebody installed some stereo equipment in here. I think it's got a crossover between the main speaker and a tweeter that's hooked in here. They took it apart, and when they put it back together, they weren't really careful about that vapor seal, sealing out water, which is its main job. As a result, water got into the cabin whenever it rained, and this is the time to clean out the inside of the door if you haven't already. Any pine needles or leaves or twigs or house material. Anything that blocks those drain holes. What you need is a dry, dust-free surface. Grease-free ideally as well, but you're unlikely to get grease in here. If there's some old adhesive on there, no need to take it off. You can. You don't have to. All those parts I just wiped down with water, I want to dry off. That's good. The inside of the door, you don't expect to stay dry. The inside of the door is going to have rain get past these seals no matter what. With new seals, you're going to have less rain, but still going to get some rain. Can't help it. So what you do is you manage the water. You manage it by creating a seal around the perimeter, and then at the bottom, flaps of the vapor seal are going to go inside. They'll be tucked inside with a little seal here, a seal along here, and a seal along here. You see, these channels are where water is designed to run inside of the door on the inside of, or on the outside of the vapor seal, keeping the door card dry, keeping the inside of your car dry. Seal on this failed. So, what I'm going to do is replace it with brand new 4mm poly. And I'm going to seal that to the perimeter with strip caulk. I like to use 3M. It comes in, as the name implies, strips between these layers of protective paper. It comes in about, what is that, 1/8 of an inch wide thick strip, 3/16 of an inch, whatever this is. You don't need that huge length. So what I do is I kind of pull it longer. And all you need is for this to seal the vapor barrier to this part of the door, to the inside of the door. Just stretch it out. The first one I'm going to put is across the top. And I want to seal it across the top just to hold it in place. I don't want it falling in when I put the door card in. So one piece basically across the whole top here. The second piece is going to go down the left side of the door. Again, pull it. It's not a precise science, but it doesn't have to be as thick as it comes in the package. Just stretch it out so it's a more workable thickness. And these holes, there's going to be holes punched there for the little pins that, or clips that hold the door in. They usually wrap around like that. Stretch it out a length and then pull it tight. Now you can go right at those. Those pins shouldn't allow water past them. Here's where it matters though. Right here, I'm going to have a piece go inside this little groove. Come down here and you'll see. And then inside this other end of the groove, that's where the flap is going to be pushed down into the door. So any water that gets to this point is going to drip down one side or another of this piece of caulking. And actually, no sense having that lower than this groove. Just think water mat, think drainage. Water is going to drain through here. Suppose I could put a piece right here so that screw's sealed, so no water comes past that screw. I don't know what those screws are for, but I'll make a little blob to put on that hole. Anywhere water can enter, seal it up. Blob on this hole here. There's no purpose of getting the plastic directed inside there if it's just going to come back through. Blob at that screw hole. See around those threads. There shouldn't be any coming through this speaker. The speaker will be there. And I'm going to give the speaker its own shield. There's another little hole over here. Now over here it's going to be a little weird. These were just covered over. Well, I'm going to do the same thing with the flap. I'm going to direct this water over here down into this drain hole. Create a drain hole on its own for each of these little openings here. If it's not clear what I'm doing, it'll become clear when we start putting the vapor barrier on. Let's see. Need some stuff to seal around. Already got stuff sealing around there. Got to seal around the window crank. So nothing falls down through it. And then these holes over here where these screws go through for the armrest, I'm going to seal right up to them so that no water comes in through those screws. Alright, we're almost ready. I think we're just about ready. Alright, let's get the vapor seal on. And here's what I mean when I say it's not fancy. It's a section of 4mm poly. That I'm just going to put up against here. Up in this little slot where the door card is held. Right now it's oversized. We're going to fix that. Got to cut holes for the knobs to go through. The poly is rather pliable, so you just cut a little slit and then push it up against the strip caulk you put in that spot, and that's a seal. And you can see how the water is going to be directed. Maybe you're starting to see how it can be directed. To replace that, the strip caulk touches this vapor seal. I'm rubbing it down, and that's providing a nice tight seal at that point. I'm going to go around. It doesn't have to be super tight, but it should have a lot of slack. You don't want wrinkles at the point where it's touching the strip caulk. That's a point where water could get past. All right. That's it. Now all I have to do is cut the excess, and to do that I'm going to want a nice sharp blade. Alright, all I have to do is cut this excess around the perimeter, just outside of this strip caulk. Alright. That's all set. Do it over here. Now that I have the rough size cut, to get this excess off, I'm going to use some of this in a minute. But down here, what I want to do cut right up to those seals, and then cut across about 1.5 inches. That's the part I'm going to tuck into the door. You want it long enough so that it doesn't pop back out for any reason. That little bit of sealant that I've got wrapped into the door is going to help seal it. So water comes down and goes down on that little flap. You see any water that gets on the inside of the door, it's going to roll down here. If it comes over here, it's going to get pushed over here and then come and go onto the inside over there. I'm going to do the same thing over here. And the same thing for this last little piece over here. Just going to tuck this in. So that's going to go to my speakers. Oh, you notice this over here. Well, what I'm going to do here I'm going to cut around this. I guess it's time to put that speaker back in anyway. Here. It's just going to get pushed back when I put this speaker back in. So what I'm going to do, cut it much larger than I need, and trim it once it's in place. And just trim the excess. Will all be hidden behind the door panel. Only one who'll know what it looks like is me. And there we have it. We have a well-sealed door. All these seals are in place, directing water down into the bottom of the door. No breaks, no unsealed openings. Any water gets in there is going to drip down past that handle. Go over it one more time, make sure everything's all sealed tight. And if you have a little bit of excess over here, just cut that off. Door card can slide into place. That's that. Remember, we got these screw holes down here where water can get in. So I'm just going to put a bit of this putty over those holes. Not putty, strip caulk. Keep those holes sealed tight. There we go, one more unauthorized factory hole here. And well, there was one up there, but that's on the other side. I'll put one there just in case. Alright, time to get the door panel on. And a couple of these factory clips have come out. I guess I could find replacements. Someday I will. Right now, I just want to go in and eat dinner. I really need new door cards. That would be the solution to this. Alright. Alright. That's not well attached, is it? That's about as well attached as it's going to get. Okay, I need new pins. I need a new door card. But for now, this will work. Oh, one final hole. This speaker hole. They ran the speaker wire through a grommet that is not at all sealed. So any water around here will come right through that grommet hole. This has to go up to about there. Well, jam that in there. Strip talk's a wonderful thing. Okay. Let's get this into position. Yeah, that's in. Not pretty, but it's in. Let's get the other things holding this door card into position. These screws for the armrest. Hold the middle of the door card in position. You don't want to tighten these too tight. You want them snug, but you don't want to crack that plastic. Hey, we're almost all back together, aren't we? I never use the driver on these two screws. Too fragile plastic inside there. Enough to snug them up by hand. The factory ones are rather skinny. You'll see sometimes bigger screws when people have stripped out the factory ones, or they've added additional ones to hold the door panel in place. Not recommended, but I understand you need your door in place. Position your handles where you want them. And don't forget, you have these little plastic shields that go inside. Normally, I like my handle for opening the door a little above horizontal and roll this window all the way up. Where do I have it? Usually I have it just a little toward me. So, right about there. Personal preference, as long as it works for you. There we go. Nice and tight. Done. That's it. One final job I didn't point out, I didn't include here, part of the weather stripping, is this inner door seal that goes all the way around the perimeter of the door opening. I didn't show you how to do that because I did it a few weeks ago and I didn't have the cameras rolling. but also because it is so easy as to not require description. You pull the old one out, which just grips a little lip around the perimeter of the door, and you put the new one in. That's it. That's the extent. Only thing you have to do is make sure that this angle corner, you start there, and everything else stretches out. There's another, 45-degree bend here, and everything else you just bend to fit. All right, that's the last little bit of weather stripping. A door that should not leak any water into my passenger compartment. Door that should not allow my floor to rust out. I got to do something about that door card. But there you have it. How to rebuild a door. If you don't have to do the whole thing, I hope some of the steps I went through may have been of use to you. There's more to do to this thing, but that's enough for now. Everything's working smoothly. All right. Thank you for watching. Hope you found some of this useful. Have a good day.